Hello, Geordie Scaper here and welcome to my adventures in aquascaping. Right, today's video we're going to talk about my friend Peter's tank. I scaped this tank around about 4 or 5 months ago. Is that right, Peter?
I think it was about 5 months, yeah.
Yeah, so about 5 months ago, scaped this tank, had an excellent day, and if you're interested in watching that build, I'll leave a link in the description or there's a link at the end of this video. Click on there and you can see the full build where we had a great day setting this scape up. But today's video is to obviously give you an update, but also an overview of the whole scape. We'll cover the lighting, filtration, go through the plants, fish, everything. So hopefully it'll give you guys some inspiration for your next setup or setup you're working on at the minute. Before I get stuck into the video, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing because it really helps me loads in the world of YouTube. So it's free, doesn't cost you a thing. All it does is take you a second, just click, hit that subscribe button and I'll be really grateful. Thank you very much. And also if you enjoy this video, give it a big thumbs up. So first up, the actual tank itself is what used to be a really popular aquarium, and it's an Evolution Aqua 900, and that is 900 mil, so 90 centimeters. Height wise, it's 45 centimeters, and front to back it is 50 centimeters, so really good dimensions for an aquascape tank. So it's got nice thick glass, minimal silicone work, really good quality aquarium for aquascaping. So that's the tank itself. The actual tank sits on the Evolution Aqua cabinet, which is in like a gloss dark grey, this one, so it's a lovely cabinet to be honest. Push doors, and like I say, these tanks used to be really popular. Not so popular these days because a different company took over them and they're not as popular as when they were Evolution Aqua. But yep, that's the tank itself. Going on to the lighting is a Chihiros Vivid, and that's fitted with the shades, and the shades have got the built-in mirrors, so you get more percentage of light coming off that mirror. It's on the Chihiros brackets as well, so that keeps the light out the way, which is great for when you're doing maintenance, that sort of thing. So the Chihiros light is fully app controlled as well, so you can control everything there from duration, intensity. You can control all the colours separate. Really good app, easy to use. I've got the same app on my tanks at home. So yeah, great light. And as you can see, it grows the plants excellent. So coming down from the light, we'll go on to the filtration. The filtration is an Oase Biomaster Thermo 600. And that's got your built-in heater, it's got the easy pre-filter. I've talked loads about Oase filters. All my filtration at home is a Oase. I've got everything from the 350 up to the 850, and I think it's the only filter I'll ever use now because they're so easy to maintain. Again, if you want more information on those filters, I've got videos on there. I'll leave links at the end of the video for a full overview of the Biomaster. The overview I've got is the actual 850, so that's the biggest one in the Oase filtrations. So yeah, you can watch that if you want. That's connected with clear hosing and the glassware, which keeps everything minimal. So it's got a nice outlet there with the classic lily pipe, glass intake, and yeah, just keeps everything nice, clean looking. And Peter's quite OCD and keeps on top of his cleaning, so he's always got the clean pipeware and hosing, which is the best thing to do because it keeps everything running as well. So if you let your hoses get clogged up with dirt, that's going to affect the circulation, etc., and the flow. So it's best to keep everything nice and clean and have that lovely minimal look. If it was me, I would have smashed them about 20 times, but you haven't smashed any, have you?
I haven't smashed one.
No, Peter's never smashed any glassware. That is unbelievable. And considering he's been scaping now for what, 5 years since COVID? Yeah, I first met Peter during COVID or just after COVID, where I scaped his first tank, which I'll overlay footage just there for you. You can see the first tank he had. And yeah, he's loved it ever since. He's got 2 setups, but this is his baby, and yeah, going really well. So no glass smashware, that's like a miracle. Like, I smash mine every couple of weeks. But yeah, so that's the glassware. And with your Oase Biomaster Thermo 600, yeah, that's a filtration he's using. So Peter keeps on top of his weekly maintenance. He does.
Don't have to.
No, but you prefer to keep on top of things.
Keep on top of it.
I always say that to people. If you keep on top of weekly maintenance, things go really well. As soon as you start skipping, that's when issues kick in. Algae issues or just different issues like plant growth, etc. So it's always good to keep on top of your weekly maintenance. So Peter does his weekly maintenance, cleans the glass, make sure the substrate's nice and clean, gets rid of all the crap amongst the plants, does a 50-60% water change.
Yeah,
so around about 50-60% water change. Keep on top of the maintenance, and this is the result you get. So I think, like I was saying before, I think Peter's pretty OCD and keeping top of his maintenance, which you tend to find with aquascaping anyways. You get a bit anal about things, and you do get a bit OCD because you know it does prevent any issues. So looks amazing. So the water change 50-60%, glass cleaned, all the debris moved out of the tank, and that's how it goes. You pre-filter, you clean every week, and that just easily comes out the filter. You don't have to touch the main body of the filter, you just take the pre-filter out, you clean it in tap water, because all the beneficial bacteria is in the main canister, not in your pre-filter. So you can just give them a rinse in tap water, back in again, that's maintenance complete. So Peter was saying he spends about an hour a week to keep on top of the aquarium with the water change. Maybe it'll take a bit longer when he's doing his glassware and stuff, but yeah, so it's not a lot of work once your tank maintains itself. Obviously, if you've got more stem plants in, which Peter used to have, that's a lot more maintenance. You're trimming stems, which does take longer. So this time round, you want something easy maintenance, slower growing plants, so it's easier to keep on top of. So that's why you'll see all the slow growers like your nubius, the ferns, that sort of thing. But we'll go into more detail about the plants. So yeah, so that's a filtration. This tank is CO2 injected with a CO2 out regulator and with inline diffuser. So your inline diffuser goes in between your hose and on your outlet of your filter, and it's dispersed via the lily pipe there. So it's getting good coverage all around the tank. So it kind of avoids them dead spots. That's a good thing with inline. Peter used to keep an eye on his levels. He's probably used the drop checker. I don't think there's one in at the minute. I bet you smashed it, have you?
Smashed it.
Wait, so he has smashed last way.
No, Sonia smashed it.
Oh, he's seen his partner, Sonia, smashed it. So yeah, it was Sonia. Sonia smashed the glassware. So I'm talking about a glass pH checker or CO2 checker. All that is, it's a little glass device you put inside the tank. You add some liquid. When it's green, that's a good reading. Yellow's too much and blue's not enough. But Peter kind of gauges your levels now, and you don't necessarily need it once you've got used to injecting CO2. But yeah, Peter's is smashed by Sonia. I forgot to mention as well, there is a skimmer in here. At the back, I'll overlay some footage, there's knee-high skimmer, and that just keeps the surface nice and clean. So not just keeping it clean, it helps with surface agitation as well. So if it's got a thick cloud, you're not getting any surface agitation, so that's going to affect the oxygen in the tank and also light penetration. So there is good reasons for using a skimmer in a tank. Peter has a real easy ferting routine on this tank because he went with simpler plants, low maintenance plants, slow growing plants. He actually doses, I think it's twice a week with Seachem Flourish. That's all he doses as per bottle instructions, and it's enough for the plants. It is important to dose some type of fert because a lot of the plants feed off the water column. It's important to add some sort of liquid fert. Flourish is your trace elements, and it's got a little bit of iron in there as well. Also, he's got some heavy root feeders in the back. There's a kind of crypt, Cryptspiralis tiger, I think it is. And also we've got an Amazon sword, which is Echinodorus. I don't know if I pronounce this right, Paul Clockler, I think, something like that. It's an aquaflora plant. Yeah, and those are heavy root feeders, so he does add nutrition tabs or flourish tabs every so often as well. I think something like 3 or 4 weeks. You just add those to help with the roots. Because as time goes on, the nutrients in the soil will deplete, so you just like topping them up with root tabs, something like that. Before I go on to the plants and the fish, etc., I just want to cover a bit more about the lighting and the CO2. So the lighting is for 8 hours a day, and that gradually ramps up to around about 75% at its peak, and then it comes slowly down as well before lights out. CO2 runs for 8 hours as well. That comes on an hour before the lights come on, so you can build up the CO2 in the tank, and it goes off an hour before lights out, so the plants can utilize the CO2 in the water before lights out, if that makes sense. but either or, 8 hours it's getting. The background is just a cheap diffused background which is stuck to the tank, and then you'll see at the bottom Peter's added a small LED, just a cheap LED light to give that nice little effect at the back. So you've got a little nice glow at the bottom which has a gradient and comes out, so that's how that's done. No special lighting, no light screen, just really inexpensive but effective. Okay, so a quick word on the actual hardscape we've used. So the hardscape is Kobo catfish wood, and there's just one huge gorgeous piece of wood in there, which again, if you watch the build video, you'll see how that come together. So yeah, Kobo catfish wood and Serious stone or mini landscape rock, and we just smashed up some stone. We've got the bigger stones and just built a nice foundation to keep the soil back but also look pleasing to the eye. So real simple hardscape. And same with the planting. As I said earlier in the video, we went with simple plants, a lot of epiphyte plants, so epiphytes plants that are attached to wood and stone and feed off the weeder column. Feed off the water column. So the substrate is ADA La Plata sand, super popular, nice sand because it's got a good grain sand. It's got a good grain size. I'm gonna learn to talk one day. Yeah, I might go back to school. In the background, if I remember rightly, but again, you might see it on the video, I think we used some crushed lava stone and we had some extra nutrients with crushed flourish tabs, so Seachem flourish tabs, crushed them up, added that because we knew we were going to use heavy root feeders like the Echinodorus or the sword plants, and then the top layer with aquarium soil. I think it was Seachem's Aqua Vitro soil, Aquasolum. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yeah. And plant wise, easy plants. So starting with the background plants, we've got Echinodorus Paul Clocker, something like that. It's actually a plant from Aquaflora. It's got a gorgeous dark reddish leaf with a green underside. And also in the background, which was added a bit later on, we've got Crypt Tiger Spiralis, which is a gorgeous plant. It's got like a red green vein through it, stunning. And that's only plants in the background. There is some dotted around in the soil in this part here. We've got some Sterigone repens and some Crypt Parva, which is the smallest of the Crypt species. And plants attached to wood and stone. We've got Trident fern, my favourite fern. We've got the narrowleaf fern. We've got Anubias petite. I think that's my overall favourite plant of all time. I just love it. So yeah, Anubias petite. We've got various species of Bucephalandra. So we've got Bucephalandra Thea red. We've got Bucephalandra Thea green. And there's some Kerrigang in there as well. There might be a couple of other species dotted around, but Peter's a big fan of Bucephalandra. And you can see how healthy that is and how well it's grew. It just looks stunning because this side was quite bare when we first done it. And I think later down the line, we both agreed that it would be best to add some of your established Bucephalandra to this site to build that up. And obviously it's worth a treat. And look how healthy they are. Got nice flower growth there. And Peter was telling us just last week there was a lot more flowers, but they don't last that long, they die off, so they die off, come back, die off, come back. But still some gorgeous growth with the flowers there. I don't think I've ever had as much Bucephalandra as that, but it's one of your favourites, isn't it? Yeah. And I think that's all the plants covered. Simple but effective, low maintenance, not loads of trimming. And I think it's just a case of every now and then nipping all the leaves off the ferns. So you see any older growth, any unhealthy growth, you'll just cut them right at the base of the leaf, get rid of those. Same with the Anubias. If any Anubias has got any green spot algae, you would just cut them away, get rid. Then all the energy is going into new growth, not repair. So that's the main reason you do that for. Same with the Trident fern, any older growth, nip it away. I've said this in other videos, but you'll notice new growth on ferns, narrowleaf fern and Trident fern. It has a nice dark green tip. That's the younger, newer growth. So you want to see more of that and less of the larger, older leaves, which in time can become quite ugly, holy, brown, and you don't want that. So sometimes it's just a case of getting your hand in there and ragging it about a bit, and that'll release all the crap, all the old dead growth. With the actual Echinodorus, the sword plant, to get rid of that if there's any growth grown out that you don't want, or there's some older leaves, all you do is go right to the bottom of the stem, snip that away, and just get rid. Again, the energy's going into all the newer growth and keep it nice and compact. But you could let that go and it will grow immersed out of the tank, but depends what look you want to go for. With the crepe tiger spiralis, that's the same with that. You would just snip away any older growth, or if it's getting too thick of growth, you would just go right at the bottom, snip that away using nice sharp scissors. Bucephalandra is the same. You can just nip away the old leaves, the old growth. So easy maintenance. And feed the heavy root feeders now and then, as I was saying earlier, root tabs, put them into the actual substrate, and that's going to replenish the soil to keep them greedy roots happy. So we've covered the plants, now we'll go on to the actual fish, the livestock in the aquarium. So with the algae eating crew first, we've got Siamese algae eaters, which grow a good size, but this tank's a good size to have those. Those are brilliant at eating the horrible BBA algae you see. So in high flow areas you can get some BBA, blackbeard algae or black brush algae, and Siamese algae eaters are really good at eating those. The downside is they do grow large, so you've got to have a decent sized tank for them. So there's a couple of those in there. There's some ammono shrimp, excellent little grazers, algae eaters. Ottocinchus, ottos, lovely little fish in itself, little characters. We've got ottos in there, and I think, do you have horn nereids?
Yeah, there's a few in there.
And there's a few horn nereid snails or clithon snails. They're really good at keeping the hardscape clean. They like your rocks, they'll graze on algae on the rocks and stuff. So yeah, that's your algae eating crew. Then the fish, we've got some gorgeous fish in here. We've got some bright red phantom tetras, which are a gorgeous colour. So that's the ones, the orange with the black spot, lovely fish. And then you've got the black phantom tetras, so same type of fish, but they're black silvery, and the females have got like a reddish pink hue in them. The males have gorgeous long dorsal fins, which they like to show off to the women, as you do. So yeah, so black phantom tetras.
Tell us.
How many tetras you got?
Tell us, like.
So black phantom tetras and red phantom tetras. We've got some lovely lemon tetras in here, and I think these are my favourite in this particular aquascape. It's not a fish you see very often these days, but they really suit this scape. Yeah, stunning fish. We've got a nice school of cories in here, so Corydoras, and these are stirby cory. Lovely. I think you've got about 8, is that right?
Yeah, I think
A school of around 8 of those in. Okay, so I think we've covered most of the fish, but there is another one. There's one there, just popped out to say hello. A pistogramma, so we've got the pistos, and this is Macanderi, I think it is. We were talking about this before, it is Macanderi, something like that, isn't it? Well, we'll say Macanderi. Yep, so I think it's an Apistogramma Macanderi. Might be wrong, might be right. I'll try and find out and overlay it anyways. But yeah, so a gorgeous selection of fish in here, which Peter's got, so it's a nice community. And it's just a nice, peaceful aquarium to have in your living room. So it's placed in the living room where you can see it from wherever you sit on the sofas, and it looks stunning. So, and Peter's done an amazing job looking after it. So simple, and I think that's what makes it easier. It's all right having loads of colourful stems, but you do have to bear in mind a lot of trimming, a lot higher maintenance. Because if you're injecting CO2, you've got high intensity levels of light with stem plants, they just grow and grow. So you're going to be trimming sometimes weekly even. So bear that in mind with stems. As gorgeous they are, and the amount of colours you can have, bear in mind the maintenance, higher maintenance, longer maintenance, etc. So with this type of scape, a lot of epiphytes, slow, easy growers, easy maintenance, and it's a bit more of a joy to have. But whichever you prefer, some people like to have the hands on it all the time and messing on and maintaining the tank, because that's what they enjoy as part of the hobby. Some people prefer minimal work on the aquarium, so you can sit back and enjoy it and watch the fish and just enjoy it more. So yeah, depends what you like. Okay, so that's it for this video. Hope you've enjoyed it, getting some inspiration from this gorgeous aquascape. I'm here all the time to come and see Peter, but thanks Peter for having us along so I can do some filming, because it does take longer. For what you see for 10 minutes takes me 6 hours because I can't talk properly. So, as I was saying earlier, if you haven't subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It's free. and it just helps me loads up. So for now guys, thanks for watching. Till next time, see you later.